combinations.
He's going to be floating on the ban list, buddy.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Definitely.
I'm making a bold prediction. I could be wrong.
They have been focusing on the support parts of those duos. And then Alice and Karma still remaining banned here. But there are, you know, a lot of combinations still left and available.
Yeah.
So let's see if they do go for it, because the Varus is still a prime one. Still
it totally
prime
is.
pick.
Yeah. I mean, Varus gets almost always permanent ban, but definitely does get through sometimes. It can be quite strong. You know, feels like the Anivia ban wants to set up for an early Rise pick. So it'll be interesting. You know, Dignitas has the option, if FlyQuest doesn't ban the Varus, to try to be like, okay, we're just going to trade with you, right? And that might be the situation we get now, where you're saying, okay, we'll do a Rise for a Varus trade, and you just don't ban either.
Well, now you kind of are pushed even more too, because my personal favorite answer into it is the Sivir into the Varus, so it's even more pressure on Varus now. So if they don't ban it, I feel like Massu should grab it.
Yeah.
See, they didn't ban it in game number 1 either, so.
Am I crazy? I could have sworn they did. Yeah, they banned it the first 3. Pretty sure. We could double check. Doesn't matter. But it is going to be Varus. I'm a little bit surprised, you know, with the Sivir banned out, Dignitas, you know, even banning the Rise. I thought if they were going to give over the Varus, I thought they would trade for the Rise. So it'll be interesting to see what their plan is here. Obviously, they do take away the Rise. They take away some powerful picks, but they could have gotten a trade. And now I'm just kind of wondering what they are feeling is the even trade. Xin Zhao, pretty high priority, you know, is obviously a powerful pick. You know, you could go Nami Corki or something like that if you want to still play towards Enchanters, but instead it's going to be Jhin and Xin as the first 2 here to answer the Varus.
I mean, Xin is pretty high prio, but still it feels weird. Yeah, giving up quite a significant amount here. And Gryffinn loves Nasus jungle. You can't. Wither is very good versus Xin. But there's a lot of stuff you can still pick into it. Like, he could go to the Nasus. He could go like Trundle or something if they wanted to also deny Dignitas possible tank picks up on the top side. He could still do his Shen jungle. It's definitely plenty of options there for Gryffinn. So
yeah,
he's not going to have to rush into anything. And you get your Varus and Bard here. It just feels like this is so good for FlyQuest so far. There's the Shen that we're mentioning.
Little jungle.
It is flex pick, but with more probably priority towards Gryffinn. He does like the Shen Protoplasm Rush jungle, and I think it probably would be pretty good here. I mean, it works both too into the enemy AD carry that's already showing with Jhin.
Yeah.
And being able to block Jhin shots is always super high value because he only gets 4 of them. So it does. I mean, I'm already kind of leaning to the FlyQuest side, but we do get to see Alistar here for Gnar. Again, a signature pick for him, and he had a huge performance on it last time.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It already feels like a really hard game for Jhin, though. I'm not going to lie. I mean, when I think about Bard is a champion that answers Jhin pretty well. You know, if you pop the curtain call, he can just temper fate you for free. You know, this is a heavily winning 2v2 with Varus Bard into Alistar that has no level 1 at all. You know, you can look to get down there and gank, but still that can be difficult. And if it is Shen jungle, you can just kind of be power farming and respond to ganks with your ultimate, with the Stand United. And then, as you mentioned, the Spirit's Refuge, that parry zone, as long as you are timing that on the 4th shot from Jhin, Jhin is losing so much damage. It does feel like a difficult Jhin game, and people are already such Jhin haters that I feel like a lot of Dignitas fans are not going to be happy with the draft.
Yeah, okay, so I was wondering mostly about mid lane here as we're working through it. In quad, with the defensive ban here, Palafox definitely does like to do some of these, you know, LeBlanc in a certain scenario for counter pick, and put a little bit of extra pressure there as mid lane is whittling down. Now it does feel pretty safe for quad to go kind of like generic any control mage that he does favor at the moment, to just build a strong team fight for FlyQuest. You know, like a Victor style champion or something.
He likes Hwei a lot as well, so
yeah, either of those definitely do work.
Yeah, Jhin has not been played that much so far this split. Only the 3 games, 1 and 2 so far, so not, you know, horrible stats or anything like that, but just in general, a lot of Jhin comps do struggle because they lack consistent damage. So you do want to see consistent damage somewhere on the Dignitas side. I do like the Gwen ban, especially if you're considering putting Shen top. That is a horrendous matchup for Shen and does give really high consistent damage. Azir, I think, fits the bill as a good pairing to me alongside the Jhin. If you want to go full dive, you can send it in that way, and Jhin can work with that. But Azir fixes your consistent damage issues, obviously. Jhin can be that more supportive style because you have a super high DPS mid laner, and I think that is a pretty good pairing.
Yeah, and you kind of need something with mobility to be able to deal with if Bard is trying to pressure mids and get some Bard roam timers. So you are going to need your own dash. So it goes with the Azir in the end. Let's see, though. Is it going to be a tank game for Gakgos? They're already going over a couple of the options here, so now we get to put your stats to the test, sir.
1-1, we're going to game 3, all right.
But the control mage, it has to be a big damage control mage here for Quad, especially, you know, the Victor or the Hwei that we were talking about, because you need some extra carry for these team fights.
Yeah.
Shen is good like base damage and when you're getting Q full throughs, but is basically the jungle build is mostly tank, as is of course the Sion here. So, all right, we are gonna get the big Hwei damage and pretty good range into the Azir as well. So should be able to farm pretty comfortably. You have Bard roaming around. You have Shen stand Uniteds as well to cover.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see, you know, obviously we just kind of default to assuming that it is Poke Varus. It is played the vast majority of the time, but around 30% of pro games are on hit Varus, so that is always a possibility if they feel like, hey, we need more damage. It's going to be Gnar on the other side for Photon. I actually kind of quite like this matchup for Sion. I feel like it's pretty easy to stabilize in this matchup and then just kind of become that brick wall. But of course, you won't have that individual agency that we were talking about with Gakgos, and we'll see if FlyQuest can get their first win of this split with Gakgos on a tank. The Shen jungle, going to be really fun. Not something we see much in the LCS at all. Of course, you know, he did play it in an EWC qualifier, so it has been out there. You know, it's not necessarily the biggest shock, but it is a pick that I think has been kind of going under the radar for a while. It's been relatively strong in jungle for solo queue for a while.
I definitely agree. Like and it's been fun for a long time.
Yeah.
What really got it on the radar was Xpetu. He's originally a top lane Shen main, and then he was like, all right, I'm gonna do some jungle stuff for now. And he's famous for his like coachless website for builds, and really was pushing the super efficient, you know, like support items, protoplasm. Rush is very, very good, very valuable, and that is what Gryffinn jumped on. He jumped on it during that hype.
Yep.
Since then, you know, getting on the radar that way did get it nerfed a little bit, but it wasn't very big nerfs. Still very, very viable and very good.
Yep.
And Gryffinn really has been liking some of those more fringe jungle picks in addition to the main champions like Pantheon and Xin and the like. So definitely going to look for it here. Protoplasm, Rush, and then should be stable, or at least if FlyQuest get their way, some pretty stable early game here.
And when you're looking at the top 4 regions and major international events, not a single Shen jungle game so far in this split. There are 8 games of it played, you know, in tier 2 regions and ERLs and things like that. Has been getting some play, but you know, first time it is getting played this split in a major region. So yes, people know about the pick, but still had not really been getting that pro interest in those top regions. So it'll be fun to see how it actually performs.
Definitely will be. Again, early stages, probably just full clear down to the bottom side. Unless there's like some aggressive trading down here and we get some summoner spells early. Nice little electrocute trade proc right here onto FBI. That one's going to sting.
Yeah, and speaking of FBI, his coaches were talking on pros, and they had a lot of positive stuff to say about him.
They did. I actually loved that coaches segment because we got so much insight since all of the coaches on that episode worked with FBI. And as you can see here, a lot of their praise were about FBI's growth over the years, basically as a person and a player, you know, being very stable and growing emotionally, like leading some reviews and stuff as well, and they're going to need that after a loss like the previous game in order to remain stable. A lot of these coaches were crediting him for, you know, like some success on energy and some success, you know, in team reviews and really being able to grow over the years.
Massu in a bit of trouble here, has to flash, and they spent the heal. He is playing teleport, so we'll be able to come back, but really nicely done by FBI and Gnar. They're actually winning the 2v2 at 2 minutes into the game in a matchup that I think is horrible for them. Massu and Cryogen just kind of unable to hit a lot of their skill shots, and now Gryffinn going to get jumped on here. Has to try to taunt out to safety. eXyu does push him out of his own jungle, cleared the top 3 camps, and meets him at his own red. And now Gryffinn trying to see if he can stay around and at least get the Krugs here. But eXyu will finish off this red, and he's holding onto his smite because he wants to take the Krugs too, and it looks like he's going to get it.
Really, really good punishment on the Shen jungle. Again, the nerf after the
They're going to dive. They're going to try to set this up. Gryffinn has to cancel the base. He's going to come over here. Good binding initially, but Massu has no flash. He's going to get burst down. It will be a trade kill back. Gryffinn going to get the Krugs, a little bit of a consolation prize, but FBI claims the first blood. Massu loses some of the CS there and dies, put way down already on this Varus, and his only buy is tier refillable. FBI is going to have a much better purchase.
Really good attack here from eXyu. Comes in, counter jungles the Shen. The nerfs after Shen got popular was 20 damage early off the level 1 Q, trying to slow down its jungle clear, and it allows eXyu to get there in time, plenty of time to contest and push him off the red. And then he's like, you know what? I'm not going to finish this Krug camp. I'm going to take your Eddie carry camp and just dive. Just dive Massu. Deny some of those minions as well, in addition to getting the first blood bonus money into Jhin. Ooh. Into FBI.
And look at that buy. As this is going to be a nice setup here. Cryogen going to pop the magical journey, try to get back, hits the double binding. He does have his flash, does have to use it, but he's going to be knocked up, and there's no way out now. The blast cone taken away. eXyu gets a kill, beautifully set up by Gnar. And just last week, he was playing the Alistar in this Alistar Senna lane and looking incredible on it. And again, here he is, just starting things off in a losing matchup, finding plays and setting up eXyu for success.
I mean, Gnar is a melee support specialist for sure. He was playing Fervor Leona when a lot of these players were still in diapers, honestly, and you know, taking it to T1. So really fun to see him back on Alistar. Obviously, last week, like you're talking about, they did get that win over Team Liquid, who are looking very strong right now.
Yep.
You know, with his Alistar and with FBI's Senna. But again, this bottom lane that we've been hyping up for Dignitas. They super showed up last week in that Team Liquid game, and they are definitely showing up here. In addition to eXyu, by the way, who gets flamed all the time, but is on a very good Xin game here with the early invade and then the follow-up playing with Gnar.
And I mean, just look at the bias off of that early play, right? It's a tier versus a serrated Dirk, so that is rough. And Massu Cryogen, you know, have been a really good 2v2 in this league. We can see Gakgos in a lot of trouble. He is very far up. Photon's just going to flash over and then block the charge. The flash is there, but Photon doesn't hit the boomerang, barely misses on Gakgos. That slow might have been enough to get him a kill.
All right, flash for flash plus ult trades here though, and he's going to use the shield to try and get this.
Yeah, that was making me a little bit nervous there for Gakgos. And now eXyu down towards that bot side, and there is the root setting him up. Cryogen in trouble here once again. Gryffinn in the area, but I don't think it matters. Another kill on the bot side. Gnar is on fire. He's just setting them up time and time again.
Yep, camp bottom lane. If you've got the Alistar playmaking, then you should use it. eXyu camping bottom side, Gnar creating the plays for the team. They get the pick, they get the objective afterwards as well. And Dignitas, they're always good for one, Azael. At least one in a series. Starting out with a tremendous early game in this one.
They are really looking strong here. And we'll see if FlyQuest can find a way to battle back. The top side of the map still doing a-okay. But that bot side becoming a bit of a problem here. You know, FBI out to a 600 gold lead, eXyu as well, up to about a 600 gold lead for himself. And really just kind of outpacing the clear speed of Gryffinn. And that has led to a lot of these issues. That led to the initial invade, that pushed him back, that led to the dive. And then just moving around the map, once they had won that bot side 2v2, Gnar just gets out there and is making plays.
Yeah, when your team is getting spam ganked and camped on the bottom side by enemy jungle, and you look up and that your jungle has the same CS,
it's a bad feeling.
Sometimes people type.
They type.
Sometimes they type when that happens.
They type, it's okay, we're scaling, team. We've got this in the late game.
That's exactly what they type. Both of them are level 6, but bottom side. So I want to see what happens with this invade. And Gryffinn leaves behind just the ward.
Yeah, Gryffinn going to be able to shadow dash over the wall. Photon was moving. Won't be able to get in range. And now the bot side 2v2 of course, the Stand United, something you have to really watch out for. You don't want to overcommit on a dive and then have Shen appear and turn around that fight. But, you know, if you can play it right, and you can disengage, as that Spiraling Spear misses, on those early Shen ults, it is so punishing for the Shen because the cooldown is just forever. As the Chains of Corruption going to get popped, Gnar is not 6, and he may have gone too far. Slowed down and killed by Massu. He really went deep there. Had the early Swifty boots, thought maybe with enough move speed he could just run out, and he popped the Ignite for the Nimbus, but even that didn't get him out, and he was not 6 and had no defensive stats.
Yeah, just as we're hyping him up. A little bit too much hype for the bottom lane, maybe. Yeah, and Varus was already 6, so he knew Varus had access to ultimate. It was a little bit low on that.
Got a little bit bored, you know? You could hear the circus music on that one.
Or just hyped up, you know? You're making plays, getting camps. Also, sometimes supports will do this where, especially if they're already getting their jungler to camp their own lane, they're like, well, I'm just going to keep making some more plays and bluff that my jungler is here. Sometimes. I don't know if that was the case here. We're kind of throwing some stuff out.
Sometimes you just get bored, you know?
But also
we've been there. You're playing a melee support into a range champion. As Photon in some trouble, Gakgos had used his ultimate, took a big trade of ultimates, but leaves Photon a lot lower on health. Gakgos down a little bit of gold, but doing well.
So I'm going back right now, scrubbing all the way back. What it was is that Massu had gone so far out of vision all the way back to his own tower. He thought that he based, and it was just the Bard there, and he thought, oh, it's been so long that if Massu is here, then he's trolling his timing, and he like canceled, and it's going to be a bad timing for him. So that was the thought process. It wasn't the boredom.
Didn't work out for him, unfortunately. Gakgos 1-6 on the Sion. You know, they are winless with him on tank so far this year. But you also have to take into consideration, Quad is 9-1 on the Hwei. So which is more powerful?
When numbers fight each other.
Exactly. The curse of the Gakgos tanks or the blessing of the Quad carries here. Gryffinn shadow dashing out. Might be forced flash, but looks like he's just going to be fine. Walk this one out. As no one able to get in range, and he did finish off all 3 grubs, which, to be honest, is kind of a rarity. Usually you just get 1 or 2 and you have to get out of there.
Yeah, I want to continue with your numbers fighting here because I feel like we could make some very good emotes based off these. Gakgos tank and Quad bless. I feel these if we had got chat to like spam the 2 like, combative
which is more
emotes,
powerful.
Yeah, which is more powerful. Just because I feel like Gakgos tank, just like his name, real like. It evokes an image, right? Meanwhile, same thing for Quad Bless here. So I don't know. What do you think is stronger? Is it Gakgos tank tearing him down, or is it Quad Bless? I'm feeling a Quad Bless here.
I'm feeling the Bless. Oh, nice. Tempered Fate there. Going to be able to lock up Palafox, and now he's going to get rooted. The Emperor's Divide comes down, doesn't land onto Quad. They don't have anywhere close to the damage to finish him off, though, so just going to be able to get the Emperor's Divide there out of Palafox. I don't think Gakgos is like so bad on tanks or anything. It's just something I noticed when looking at stats and thought it was kind of interesting. You know, it's more that he really excels on the carries, and maybe FlyQuest isn't as comfortable playing around, but Quad definitely a very good Hwei player, and I think Hwei can be incredibly strong. It's just more hit or miss. I always kind of put it more in the bracket of like Vel'Koz than Azir, where, you know, if you hit everything, it's super powerful, but you can also kind of do nothing in a fight pretty easily.
Yeah, and if you have time to hit as well, which might be hard if you've got Gnar flanking around on Alistar, creating chaos.
That's why we got the Gakgos tank, buddy.
Exactly. Gakgos tank will mark them and keep them out. Dignitas, though, they might not leave it up to any of the FlyQuest members as Dragon stacking continues. Gryffinn wants to steal it.
Has no smite yet, and it didn't have that smite as it went down. Just came up afterwards. They're going to see if they can try to chase down eXyu, though. On the side, Varus starting to poke away. Palafox getting some good damage down onto Quad as eXyu with that Crescent Guard absorbing everything. Gryffinn has to run for it. Will he be able to get out? Flashes over the wall. The curtain call not going to connect onto him. Chains of Corruption lands onto eXyu as Massu knocks him down, and in the pit, Cryogen going to pay the price. He falls, but Palafox incredibly low. He's going to get hit down surely by Gakgos, but he can't catch up. Massu trying to come around the side and finish him off. Photon is going to go mega and gets the Gnar into the wall, knocks one down. Quad trying to trade it back. Great flash back, and is going to be able to get him with the Crushing Maw. Gakgos, Massu, the rest of the team chasing in. Flash forward as Massu gets another and goes on a killing spree. And just like that, the FlyQuest bot lane are right back in business.
Ooh, Massu with the Varus ultimate over the wall. The Dragon Pit was able to lock down eXyu, and they took out enemy jungle there, trying to wrap around and get some extra kills after the objective was taken. Turning it to be a lot more competitive here. Chopping down on some of the Dignitas lead that they had built up, but here's another look at it. Let's see, so yeah, sometimes the observer icons here for Smite aren't super reliable, so yeah, maybe it was a couple more seconds on that one, and didn't quite have it either. So eXyu does get that, but then look at the chase. So they go in on him, eXyu does get his ulti off. He actually is trying to W flash Cryogen, it looked like, but he kind of split both members. He didn't hit the W flash on either of them. And then it's Massu over the wall, able to lock him down with the ulti. Palafox having to flash out from the other side too after they got that kill. Meant that FlyQuest do, chase down a little bit of extra gold. Of course, it cost Massu his flash to get this extra smite onto FBI, but quite good for them at least. Photon though, doing some work and creating some space, almost enough space for FBI to run away, but flash was there.
Yep, just barely Photon is able to get that Mega off as Spiraling Despair going to get popped onto Palafox. Will shift back and shrugs off most of that trade. You can see eXyu and Gnar are moving in to try to get behind him. So there's this scrap on the bot side, but I think the top side is where the action could actually be. Palafox, though, taking a lot of damage. He's tried to push in this wave from quad. Cryogen there to defend him. So it's much ado about nothing on that top side as quad will just clear out the wave. This is actually a play potentially on Palafox. Nice reaction timing from him, though. Shifts out of that tempered fate as he was recalling on a ward.
All right, it's going to be pushed in both mid and top then for FlyQuest. Going to get control of the map for a while where we have double resets. There's no teleport on Palafox, so that's just good money for quad. Hwei going to get some turret plate money up here off of that. And mid lane, they got kind of equalized there as well. So honestly, if they're able to stabilize from here, FlyQuest have some pretty competitive chances as far as the next team fight that they do get set up. But the work that Dignitas have been doing, setting up nicely for another dragon stacking, it's a little less than 2 minutes until the next one. And if they can get there early, Gnar loves using this Fog of War, wrap around to some of these crazy flank angles.
Ooh, Massu going to get pinched on both sides. In comes Gnar, going to look to knock him back as he gets rooted up by FBI. He's got nowhere to go. The Stand United does not even complete. As that is the first one of the game, I believe, from Gryffinn, and not going to be enough to keep him safe. They just pinched him on both sides.
Yeah, nice Hex Flash from Gnar. We have the Sion ult.
Gakgos coming in, crashing into the wall, though, as eXyu is running for the hills. Gakgos taking a ton of damage from Azir on the side. Quad and Cryogen going to try to keep him safe, but he gets knocked back by the Emperor's Divide. They're turning around on a Palafox. He gets stunned into his own wall and knocked back for a trade kill. That one likely not worth it there for Palafox, but in the meanwhile, Photon is getting paid on the bot side. Look how far ahead he is getting on this Gnar.
Yeah, that allows Gnar the split push. I definitely don't think that was worth as far as going into to ult back the Sion. Maybe they could just keep hitting the Sion and push him out. They already had advantage there with the extra one and some pretty good positioning. If you just keep your range and keep on hitting, a lot safer, but sacrificing one extra there, giving back a kill, still is going to be very profitable for Dignitas. They had already won so much, and as you say, got to push the other lane as well. So that puts up the gold lead to 2K, but could even be better.
Exactly. I mean, especially when Azir, you're looking at the itemization for Gakgos, right? It's all armor. So Azir is the one that's going to be pumping the damage. You want to keep yourself safe.
So I feel like we discussed this a lot, but a lot of times there's so many, like Azir players looking for the angle to go in and make a play when you could just auto attack with soldiers.
Just right click them.
Sometimes just be a little more calm, just auto attack. Even if they don't finish off the full kill. I mean, I think they did have a lot of CC still for Sion. He was locked down for a while, but regardless, they're still in a very good spot for Dignitas.
TP coming in from Photon. The Mega Gnar about to expire here, so timing not great. And FlyQuest will get pushed in mid lane. Photon gonna have that Gnar bar slowly charging back up, but it is on cooldown for a while. He can't get any rage, and this is allowing FlyQuest to get priority in that river. Doesn't look like they want to start it up just yet. I mean, Shen not great at actually soloing out those objectives, so they're just going to keep fighting in mid lane, and now Photon slowly charging up that bar, might be ready for the fight.
All right, they do have vision set up, but Gnar coming from... Ignar's got his teleport swap.
And look at those deep wards. There's all kinds of pings on those deep wards. He's potentially thinking about it, but instead we'll just TP the team.
Okay. honestly, if they can get the front to back here, Sion ultimate from bottom side.
eXyu gonna go in. There's the Crescent Guard getting popped. Massu flashes back over the wall. Curtain Call gonna get popped here. Squad is taking a lot of damage on the side, but in comes Gakgos, and now the knockup is straight into Dignitas. Crashes into them. The Tempered Fate and the root to follow it up there onto Photon, and now Photon is into a bounce house. He is getting knocked up, knocked down. Palafox forced to retreat on the side as the Magical Journey from Cryogen here, bringing Gakgos over to try to chase after him. They chunk out Palafox, and that should be the Dragon. Is this time, Gakgos has the drifting skill to find a great engage.
It's Gakgos tank, baby, all the way to the bank, and they're able to win that one. That was beautiful, right down the river, hits them both on the counter engage, and it is the attempt on Massu's life, but so Massu's gonna flash to create the extra distance after eXyu goes in. eXyu went for a flash play to try and like Zinsec them a little bit, but it didn't really Zinsec anybody.
His mark is on Massu, so you can't knock him back.
His quad went just lateral in the lane, so he moved quad, but it didn't move him in any beneficial direction.
No, I mean, it almost...
And then you don't have flash for the Sion ult. So.
Yeah, like the way he flashed looked like he was trying to knock back Massu, but your mark is on him. Whoever you hit last.
He already W'd and charged him.
Yeah, so I don't really understand it. I mean, he didn't have the angle to get quad. The angle was right to knock back Massu, but you would have had to try to charge quad and then flash behind Massu to make that happen. So he just got way too hyphy, and then Gakgos with a great punish. eXyu goes down in a hurry. Gakgos kind of crashed into the wall on that earlier play in the topside river, but this time he does nail him, and now quad with a pretty significant lead, but it is still Dignitas up over 1K, and with the Dragon advantage for now, as it is a 1K lead for both Photon and FBI. So the side lanes for Dignitas still very strong.
I mean, I don't feel like you ever get a better answer to your side lanes either. You know, it's Azir and Gnar. Those ones are those are going to be hard for you to deal with either way for FlyQuest. As the game goes on, your sides are just going to be constantly collapsing in on you, and you just have to collect basically with Sion and Hwei at the moment. At least you have a Bard on your side to make some plays.
Tempered Fate comes down. Can they actually set this up? I think it's just going to be a play for a chunk. The Spiraling Spear is thrown out. Palafox going to be put very low. Gnar up here to peel, but Palafox will be sent back to base. Has the teleport, and it is Gnar having to pop his ultimate as well to stay safe.
We do always mention Bard, you know, trying to figure out the side lanes here for them, and that is huge value. So much damage onto Palafox. They push him completely out of lane again. Teleports towards mid, though.
Yeah, Gryffinn could be in a little bit of trouble as Palafox comes in. Nice flash, though, from Gryffinn. Gets over the Emperor's Divide. Massu using the Herald just to try to escape here. Does stay safe, but it means the Herald's not going to get a charge mid lane, so that is going to be spent for just the escape there for Massu, kind of acting as an extra summoner.
Yeah, good moves from FlyQuest, and Cryogen on the move with the Bard. All of that resulted in they get the extra teleport out of the Azir. They got the top tower fully into Quad's pockets as far as all that money and finishing off the turret plates and taking that one down. So continuing to funnel this Hwei, the big carry here for the team. Quad is going to have to pull a lot of the damage. Flank from Photon does get scouted.
Oh, that Magical Journey was not the angle that Cryogen wanted. Does sidestep the snare, and then Gnar actually misses on the ult, doesn't get him into the wall. They do get out the ult from Gryffinn, though, so Stand United spent. Gryffinn clearly wants something from it. Not going to get it. These Shen ults have not been very effective, but now in comes Gakgos looking for FBI, will force the flash. So a couple trades, not able to actually commit to a kill, but both teams forcing some big summoners and cooldowns.
We've all been there, you know? Sometimes some magical journeys will just end up a little short. Okay?
Not that magical.
The angle can be tricky sometimes when you're doing it quickly.
On a skinny wall, it's actually quite hard.
Yeah, when you're doing it, especially when you're doing it fast, gotta get out of there. So it does require a few more resources, but still looks fine for them.
Yeah, Photon has that Mega Gnar bar charged up. Last game, I didn't feel like Ocean Soul was a great soul. This game, it feels quite strong for either team, honestly. You have a bit of kind of like lower consistent damage teams, and you have some tanky members on both sides. You know, you have the Alistar, you have the Gnar, you have the Xin on one side, and on the other you got this Shen Sion frontline. I do think Gakgos needs some MR, though. He has not purchased any MR at all. The person who's going to be killing you in the 5v5s is Azir. You know, yes, Gnar is a problem in the side lanes that you have to itemize somewhat for, but I don't think building not even a null magic mantle at this point in the game is going to be correct, because Palafox is going to be the one that is dealing with you in those 5v5s. Jhin and Gnar, it's probably not a team fight where they're focusing down the Sion that they're going to be able to win.
Yeah, I assume after steel caps,
surely.
next thing is surely going to be Empire.
One null magic mantle, I beg of you. We'll see if he does grab it. Are you a fan of these rocket belt builds?
Honestly, I am, because wait.
Oh, nice knock back. Quad gonna have to flash away as he's tanking that tower up. Palafox getting a bunch of damage down. In comes Gakgos. Palafox flashes to the side, but gets bound into the wall, and Gakgos makes him pay for it. Photon and eXyu, though, chasing in. Quad has to be careful. The curtains are gonna get called here. Quad is out of range, and Tempered Fate is gonna interrupt it, and Sion is just tanking up so much damage. There's no Azir to get the damage done. eXyu knocked up. Gakgos walking forward. Not a care in the world as Hwei comes back from the base. FlyQuest moving forward. Gnar trying to find a combo here. Does get chipped low. Gakgos still moving in. Is Cryogen going to pop the magical journey? eXyu is low. Has to run for it. Dignitas pushed back. It looked like it was going to be a good play here from Palafox, but FlyQuest survive and are going to win the dragon and the tower off of that team fight. He
really wanted to finish off Quad there. He really wanted to finish off the Hwei. Flashes forward, but honestly, I say Giga Brain Gakgos, you don't have to build MR if the Azir is dead.
True.
See, the Azir flash forward, they kill him
and
off.
There's our null magic mantle. So he's got the Azir itemization secured.
For next time. Nicely done there for FlyQuest, and Quad does escape with his life just barely. Then he got time for his shield as well afterwards, and now 2 Ocean Dragons, just the regular ones for themselves. Pretty nice control up here around Baron Vision as well, with the Scuttle Grab about to pop. All's going quite nicely for them.
Yeah, it really is. The Shen has been all right, just kind of quietly involved in some of these fights, not making too big of an impact, honestly. They haven't had an effective stand united just yet, but hey, Shen is still a tank. He's still creating space. The parry zone is very annoying for FBI when timed correctly. And always going to make side lanes a little bit more difficult, because we talked about how Gnar and Azir are obviously stronger in the side lanes, but you always have to worry about a potential stand united. You have to worry about the Bard showing up out of nowhere, as we will see FlyQuest just heavily playing for vision right now around this Baron, but Dignitas trying to keep some eyes in the area so they're not surprised.
Definitely don't want any sort of surprise ults coming through to burn your flash. Cryogen is kind of spying around, hanging on Fog of War, and ooh, he's looking for them.
Yeah, did tickle his toes there with the Tempered Fate, but not quite getting him. Just a little tickle, you know? Couldn't quite grab on.
And FBI was giggling.
Yeah.
Very close, because FBI didn't have his flash, so yeah, he had to wiggle those toes to get out of there. Very close. Swing and a miss.
Yeah. Couldn't quite grab him, you know? Oh, that
couldn't
sucks.
quite again. We've had a game of a lot of almost.
We have.
I feel like
that was a well-timed ult there from Massu, and now
yeah,
Photon is walking in on the side. That Chains of Corruption completely stopped Gnar's ult in its tracks. eXyu scrapping with Gnar, but getting the worst of it. He is just getting poked down by Quad and Massu. This FlyQuest team is becoming pretty annoying, as they have a lot of long-range damage. And if you are not clean on your engages, it is tough to fight against the comp that they have built.
Definitely agree, and this mid tower still under siege. It's got crystals built up. They can't finish it though. FBI is able to delete the wave, so nobody able to pop the crystals, and it stands for now.
And this long-range artillery, they're just constantly dodging. It's like a bullet hell against Quad and Massu. Piercing arrows and these artillery fire shots coming down constantly. Again, connecting in onto FBI. They finally knock down the tower this time. Palafox pushing up topside, but doesn't have the confidence to stay around and get that tower, and knows that they could actually look for a play up onto him.
I mean, this Dignitas team, it kind of revolves around which of our engagers have flash, because you really need it to make the engage onto this range advantage that the Hwei and the Varus have. So it's got to be, a big Gnar flank or Fog of War play. Currently, he's on Hex Flash, which requires way more setup. Obviously, is not as useful, but Palafox can try and make a big move when he has his. It's just very dangerous, because then you lose for a meantime, like one of your biggest DPSers, and then, of course, Photon is the other option.
Yep, going to be trying to find those angles. I mean, Gnar did find some really good engages early on, but the last, I don't know, 15 minutes or something, it feels like it's been a lot more difficult for them to find.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the Varus ult on the last one.
It was really nice. Ooh, eXyu could be in some trouble. Going to get taunted up. Gnar over the wall here, looking to threaten. They are going to knock Gryffinn in, but no damage is really around, so not much going to happen from this. Photon now coming in as the binding into the taunt. The CC onto eXyu is causing some problems. The Tempered Fate going to get sidestepped, but he is rooted up there by Massu. And has to pop the Crescent Guard and the Flash to get out, so that's going to be problematic here as they are just going to head straight on over to Baron, it looks like, and try to force the issue, make eXyu fight without his cooldowns.
Yeah, no Crescent Guard is very, very difficult for Xin to operate now. They do have the flash for Azir and for Gnar, though.
Look at that chunk onto Gnar, loses about 30% of his health. eXyu is healthy, and this Baron is going down so slow. This is the lethality Varus trying to do it, so FlyQuest, I think they need to turn. Photon is just getting free damage down on the Gakgos. Gryffinn was still tanking up the Baron, and FlyQuest will be pushed back. I mean, their Baron is pitifully slow with just that Varus and Shen damage, so that was not really, I think, the play that they were looking to draw up, and now Dignitas, as a result, has a bit of prio here around mid, so we'll see if they want to try to look for a play. Palafox trying to threaten on the side as Gnar is rushing forward here, and they will be able to knock down the tower as Gnar just getting this damage rained down on him constantly from Quad, who probably has the death cap on this base, and I think Quad has just been having a great game.
Yeah, he certainly has. He needed to be the big carry, and he has. Death cap completed, 3-item power spike. Just in time for the dragon fight. All right, Quad is walking over through the jungle right now. Dignitas are trying to burn down the Baron, though.
Gnar channeling the Hex Flash. Is he going to go for it? Photon on the side has the Mega Gnar charged up. Gnar is very low, and now Palafox tanking some damage. Photon getting marked here by Gakgos as they're going to go in. The Crescent Guard gets popped. The Spiraling Spear as well. Massu trying to retreat back is on the side. Gnar and Photon are battling against Cryogen. Cryogen trying to get out of there. He survives for now as the Dragon is taken by Dignitas. The Tempered Fate is going to whiff. Gakgos is in some trouble on the side here. Pops his ultimate to try to buffer the CC, but eXyu is chasing in. He's in on the Quad. The shields are massive on Quad, but they won't quite be enough as FBI running from Gakgos and Gryffinn. Palafox pumping the damage out, shifts in onto Massu. Massu stands and fights, but can't finish him off. Gryffinn, taunt, flash, gets the kill back. And on the side, it's FBI and Gnar. A beautiful binding is going to get cleansed there by FBI, but he just has no damage. His 4-shot can't even break the shield from Gakgos, and he is getting chased. He's got the flash. He may have to use it. Cryogen going to look. He flashes forward, gets bound up. It's going to be a trade, but it's just a support for the life here of FBI, who eventually will get knocked down. Jhin can do nothing against the FlyQuest front line. It is a scrappy fight. Dignitas get the dragon, but FlyQuest win out in the 5v5.
What a fight. Let's take a look at our Pagoda moment here. This one gets crazy. Quad is walking over. He's huge on the way. But look at the top side. Photon about to go Mega. Cryogen and Gakgos both go for him while you have the secondary engage. eXyu right in onto Massu and Quad, pops his ultimate with the ult from the Jhin coming over the top. So much damage on the top side. Gets pumped into Photon here, though, when Massu and Quad rotated over, that he's now low. So on the retreat, Gakgos is able to finish him off with the help of Cryogen's binding. Then they get the re-engage here. Despite the Shen shield as well as his own shield going down, Quad does get shut down as FBI got to move up. And then Palafox goes in, finishes off Massu. Flash from Gryffinn, able to find that taunt at least on him at the very least. And then, you know, finally, they do have the numbers advantage. And in the end, like, using your flash to go for the kill trade
not worth
onto just a Bard there definitely doesn't seem like it was worth. I think Gryffinn actually didn't even have to flash, so kind of nice for, oh no, actually this thing is kind of a little bit off.
I will say, though, one advantage for Dig, Gnar now has his flash. No flashes on the FlyQuest carries, so he could potentially find a big play. If you can flash in, get a combo into an Emperor's Divide or a big Gnar wall, you know, stun or something like that, you know, maybe they could win out on this next fight. And Dignitas are at soul point, so even though FlyQuest went out of the fight, are slightly up in gold, Dignitas, realistically, they're one good dragon fight away from potentially securing this game. Ocean Soul is going to be so hard for FlyQuest to deal with because they're so dependent upon their poke.
Yeah, and Dig started this game out performing so well. Let's see if they can actually do it. Dragon Soul, oh man, time flies. It's only 2 minutes on the next dragon already. We're about to have a banger in the side lane, maybe.
Photon could be able to dodge out on that. Massu getting down here, but Massu struggling to get in range, and Dignitas are just starting up the Baron. You can see FlyQuest trying to get up there and respond to the other side. The Chains Corruption going to get flashed away from, so Photon absorbs the pressure. He's TPing up there, and they're going to secure the Baron here in the face of the 3 FlyQuest members. Massu is trying to get up here. They have the double TP, so he does arrive. Gryffinn forced back, has the Shadow Dash defensively. The Redemption comes down. Cryogen's in trouble. Magical Journey out to safety. Photon on the side is trying to chase in on the backline as Gakgos is just sectioned off. He is slowly getting whittled down on, but look at the fear from Quad. Palafox tries to go for the big play, but he is terrified by Quad and taken down. The Tempered Fake just clipped FBI, and this could be the fight that breaks the back of Dignitas. What a beautiful play there from Quad as Gakgos wants even more of the Stand United to rise. Photon falls, eXyu sent running. Gakgos gonna be able to tank up the tower as FlyQuest has a massive play from their mid laner.
Quad reads them like a book, and FlyQuest stuffed the play completely. Even with the Baron buff, Dignitas are losing everything. Their base doesn't stand a chance.
They're just marching in here. They do have the Baron buff, but it's only their jungler and support to try to defend. FlyQuest looks like they're just going to take the inhibitor and back off. They want to try to play for this next dragon, not confident that they could end before Palafox respawns, and I think they are correct here. So Dignitas will hang on, but that was a big-time play there from Quad.
You have to play these fights slowly. With the way that these two teams are built, it's not about the huge, very quick plays. It's about keeping your battle lines in. Let's take another look. So, really good Baron from Dignitas. Great Baron. But now, when they look for the turn, let's take a look. They get a lot of free damage in the Gryffinn. Gakgos teleports in with a huge shield, though, with his role completed. Everybody gets out of range except for Gakgos from the Jhin ult. But here, look at it. You're looking for a little bit too quick. Quad, boom, nails Palafox just at the last second. And then you get Fear chained into taunts, and he's completely stuffed the play.
I mean, he just wants it too bad. We're right back to live, and it's a fight breaking out. Photon might get burst down. He's trying to get into the Mega. The bar is almost fully charged up. Gakgos peeling on the side, and Quad makes no mistake. Knocks him down. The Tempered Fate won't find any as Gakgos charges in. It's a double knock-up on the front line, and they get crushing Maud together as Gryffinn is delivered to the back line. FBI is in trouble. Dignitas are in shambles. It's Palafox trying to knock down Massu, but he doesn't have the juice to do it. eXyu is back with the GA. It's a taunt, it's a flash, it's a knockdown Azir. eXyu in a 1v3, trying to survive, taunted up, knocked up. Cryogen running, trying to stay alive. They will eventually be able to knock him down. And it is an open mid lane here. FlyQuest will push. They don't have their carries though. The respawn timers are quite long. I don't know if they can end the game. Photon's up in 15.
Yeah, as is Gnar. I think they can just make time because only tanks are left up for FlyQuest. Still, it's another banger of a team fight, and it's going to result in the 3rd dragon for FlyQuest. We're going the distance.
I mean, we just jumped straight out of that replay into another fight, but I'm still kind of like focused on that replay where I feel like Gakgos was sectioned from the whole team.
Yeah, you have time.
Could just hit the Sion and you win the fight for free.
It's another instance of you have time. And again, you got to play these fights a little more slowly with how they're constructed here. But take a look at this one. Gnar popped the ultimate, tried to walk forward. It was another good ult from Massu, though. You saw the Varus ult on the side on Photon. Completely denied that engage. And then Quad hits the snipe. So beautiful stuff from the FlyQuest carries there to basically take out Photon right at the beginning. And then you have the chase attempt through where it does get dicey because with Gakgos and Gryffinn so deep onto FBI, Palafox does go into the back line and flashes as well to at least take out the 2 carries here. They get Quad and he gets low enough Massu here that eXyu can finish him off. So at the very least, they do take out the enemy 2 enemy carries so they don't lose on it. But still losing more and more ground each one.
I thought Massu played that fight brilliantly. I mean, you called out the Chains of Corruption. He also, as they pop that Stand United in the backline of FBI, he sidesteps the taunt, and Massu nails him with a piercing arrow, puts him incredibly low, and is able to flash the Emperor's Divide at the same time. So really playing these fights out well. Massu definitely a standout here.
The only one that can do damage to Sion is you, Christian.
Yeah. I will try to hit.
That's what we're talking about. I mean, especially, you know, if you're flying in, you're trying to go for a trade, well, it's like FBI said, no one can hurt Sion except the Azir, but if the Azir is always flying into the back line, he's not there to do the damage.
I also like that this comms, updates our story that we're talking about FBI's growth, that we showed all of the quotes from his former coaches that were on that coaches podcast. FBI is very calm, you know, just calling out the win cons here. Hey, just a friendly reminder, you're the one that's going to have to work through this Sion because he's stacked a bunch of armor from the early game, so it's going to be pretty hard for me and Photon.
Ooh, eXyu taking a ton of damage here. Has to prop the Crescent Guard defensively. Will be able to walk it out, but Dignitas, they are one fight away from losing this game. They've got to stay locked in. The series would end if they do fall in this second game. FlyQuest now 3 dragons apiece. Titanic Hydra has been completed for Gakgos, so now the Sion actually has some damage, so you can't just ignore him. If he runs past the Azir in onto this Jhin, he is going to be a problem. And this is Massu on his carry stats. Has been very good for FlyQuest. You know, we obviously highlighted them in their 2v2 quite a lot so far this split, but really showing up in a big way in that last team fight on the Varus, and I think he's been a big part of the success when FlyQuest is having it. Yeah,
that, his gameplay as well as his leadership, we keep getting interviews and talking about him wanting to take on a bigger leadership role because he is one of the elder members on the team despite being so young.
He's like 20.
He's a veteran maybe. But
that's elder when you're surrounded by, you know, Gryffinn and Cryogen and whatever.
All the Gen Z.
Yeah. They have a young team.
They certainly are. The youngest, in fact, that we do have, and the youngest team out here looking at 2-0 over Dignitas. But this game's still very, very close. The gold lead is not the biggest of deals. It's about these epic objectives. Our next team fight could just break everything. We've got Dragon Soul coming very, very soon in just under 2 minutes here, and with Baron on the map at the same time, that can wrap up the entire thing. We're almost 40 minutes in. It's all about the big plays now. Death cap completed for Palafox. You gotta be the one to be able to work through the damage.
Yeah, that is a huge buy for Palafox. He was just sitting on the 1 NLR and now has that full buy as Photon takes a ton of damage. That was just the Titanic proc off of a ward, did about 20% of Photon's health there. Gakgos, very tanky, level 19. eXyu took so much free damage there from Massu as he tried to get in. Gryffinn slowly working down this Baron, but that is going to take forever for him to kill. eXyu is aware of it, has the GA back up and available, but look at Dignitas, they're just constantly getting poked as they try to walk in. Gnar is incredibly low now, 20%, sidesteps that damage coming in from quad, but he's going to have to potentially go back from base, and now the Baron is in danger of just getting knocked down. Dignitas can't even find a way in. Griffin's still just tanking this up. FlyQuest pushed them back, beautifully secured.
And that's just a full tank Shen and his pet. Full tank Shen and his little pet here, while the rest of the team
slow and steady wins the race.
Is doing poke damage. Gets the job done, and honestly, that was faster and steady than I thought it was going to be.
Fast and steady wins the race too.
Yeah, medium, medium speed there maybe, at least for him and his pet damage, working out quite nicely for Gryffinn and FlyQuest because it allows your damage members to do poke damage and to push off the enemy team the whole time. So they're not necessary to pump all their spells into the Baron while you're doing it that way.
Ooh.
FBI.
Takes one arrow there from Massu, and he is sent back. Gnar getting hit hard. eXyu and Palafox, though, looking for a flank. Palafox going to try to go for a big play, potentially here once again. Photon coming in, but he has no Gnar bar whatsoever. Gnar is incredibly low, and Gnar has to flash back to safety, running away as eXyu goes in, pops the Crescent Guard, and it's a deletion of Massu. It's all up to quad now. Palafox playing it slower, trying to go forward. He flashes in. He looks for quad, but quad flashed over the wall, and now eXyu is getting knocked down. Gakgos finally going to be finished off. Dignitas are winning the fight, but quad on the side trying to make it happen here. Quad and Gryffinn have got to get out of there. They've got to get back to base. They are the only 2 members alive, but Gnar has found Gryffinn, and they're going to try to chase him down. The Deadly Flourish comes in. Palafox has arrived. Gryffinn is going to be killed off. Quad is going to get back to base, so it won't be a game ender, but it is a big-time play, a big-time fight for Dignitas, as they should eventually be able to get the Shen.
Yeah, and they should be able to get the Dragon Soul as well.
Stand united, stand united. He's out!
He's out, but they lose the soul. You lose a huge objective. With how long these fights...
Wait, it's going down slow. Can he get there in time? Griffin's running straight forward. They're going to try to burst it.
He has flash!
He has flash. He can actually go for this here. He doesn't have the vision yet. He's going to taunt in. He sees it getting low. They can pull off it. Quad is trying to help him finish, but he's forced to flash back defensively. Photon pushes him out.
Oh. With how long these fights are, Ocean Soul can do so much work in these extended fights. Dignitas, never say it's over if Dig are still breathing.
Was that just the 4th shot from the curtain call from FBI? Because Massu got exploded. Gnar gonna get caught out here. They're gonna look for a pick onto him. He's taunted up, does pop the unstoppable force. He's trying to survive here. looking to just try to back up, but he's getting CC down. Palafox again going into the back line, but this time he is hit by Massu. He is hit by Quad. Palafox still surviving on the side. It's a level 20 Gnar looking for the flank. It's eXyu in the middle of the entire team. It's Massu standing and fighting with a double kill. It's a GA being popped. It's FlyQuest with blinking health bars, but everyone is still alive. Again, Dignitas go for the big play. FBI flashes in, gets hit by the crushing maw. He takes him out. FlyQuest, against all odds, win the fight against the Ocean Soul. Dignitas crumbles under the pressure. They tried to go for too much, and they are going to regret that one big time.
First of all, what are these Hwei shields? These are massive Hwei shields, and FlyQuest, they are going to stay strong despite the Ocean Soul to finish it 2-0.
I cannot believe it. FlyQuest, it looked like they were out of this game, but Dignitas try to go too far, look for the big play, and FlyQuest outplay them in the fight once again and will take the series 2-0.
And Massu hit the last Q onto Palafox to snipe him after he was trying to get out after going for the Azir ult onto Quad. Massu and Quad able to snipe him, not let him escape from going for that play, and turns it into a FlyQuest victory. What a back and forth game that was.
That was crazy. I'm going to be honest, though. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that Dignitas didn't just slow it down. We even heard them talking about it in the comms replay. When you have Ocean Soul, just do nothing but hit frontline. As long as you're not getting one shot by the Varus and Quad, you can't really lose the fight with the addition of that Ocean Soul. So I feel like they just had to slow it down, but they kept feeling like they saw a big angle, you know, looking for the Emperor's Divide, looking for a big engage, and FlyQuest outplay him when it matters most in this fight. It is a 2-0 win here for FlyQuest, and Dignitas unfortunately remains winless, can't take a series, and today can't even take a game after two very competitive ones and a second one where it felt like they were in the driver's seat at that point.
Whew. That one got me excited. I'm sure it got all the fans excited. Let's take a listen in, Emily, and see if it got Quad excited.
All right, the casters told me the first thing I need to ask you is how excited are you after that win?
Feels pretty good, but we still make some mistakes. So I think we need to still practice a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, some of those late game team fights got very chaotic. So talk me through, especially after that initial team fight mistake where it did look like DIG were going to be able to come back. Talk me through how you guys kind of brought it back and settled down.
I think overall this game, every team fight, they need to find a flank or engage on us. But I think some fight they really good engage on like Xin Zhao, like flash into just one shot of our Massu. That was really scary. I thought we could lose like that fight and then we just lose the game. But I think next fight we did really well, just going to mid and then keep poking, don't get flank, and then keep poking, and then protect me and Massu. So yeah, it was pretty good last fight.
Yeah, there was another earlier fight as DIG were trying to kind of split the map and do Baron that you landed like a really crucial fear onto Palafox to kind of win that, and that really turned the tide in your favor. So talk me through that fight and just this Hwei pick overall.
I think we have Bard and then Sion. So I think I can be just scaling gem like Hwei and then long range into Azir. So that's why I pick Hwei. And then I don't know why Massu tried to look not on board when bottom side. Honestly, I didn't say anything, so that's also a problem too. So we get bottom for free. But we killed 3 people, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, so to be fair, we killed 3 people. Yeah.
What is it like? The last question I kind of want to ask is, obviously, you're like kind of the older veteran leadership on this team. This team still seems very chaotic. I was listening to you guys. You're very, very loud. What is it like kind of stepping into that leadership role?
I mean, we have a lot of kids. So I want to stay calm, and then I want to be a good leader. So I try to sleep well because every day is so tired. Because they talk a lot. Also, they call my name for no reason. I don't know why they might come like quad, and they say just random things. So too tired. Just I wanna take just good sleep.
All right, well, get out of here. Get some good sleep. Thank you so much for catching up. On the other side of the break, we will have Cloud9 taking on Shopify Rebellion. See you then.